What's up guys, Roman from RNS Entertainment here with this week's episode of Comic History, the series where we go over the iconic origins and storylines for all sorts of great comic characters and series. In this video we're going to be continuing our symbiote videos with Agent Venom vs. Kraven, a very cool confrontation early on in the incredible Flash Thompson Agent Venom solo series. For the origin of Agent Venom where Flash takes on the symbiote and mantle of Venom, go check out the Origin of Agent Venom episode of Comic History. The story starts out with longtime Spider-Man villain and complete nutjob Kraven the Hunter charging through the jungles of the Savage Land on the back of a dinosaur, chasing after his prey, Agent Venom, who had been deployed to destroy a factory mining and weaponizing Antarctic vibranium for use in ammunition and weaponry that could melt through any other metal. Following his first mission overseas and his first encounter with Jack-o'-lantern, who is working for the mysterious entity responsible, Kraven thinks to himself that he was young when his mother went mad and that his fear of hereditary insanity had driven him to the wild corners of the world, conquering the hunt while literally becoming a madman. He chases Agent Venom, who has poison spears sticking out of him and has been run ragged over the course of days, thinking to himself that every spirit has a diametrically opposed opposite that it is forced to continually hunt and be hunted by, and that only the spider's venom could grant Kraven true peace in death. Kraven is hunting Venom out of an insane delusion that a spider person killing him is the only way he can find peace. Agent Venom hears war drums and realizes that it's only the poison from Kraven's spears working its way through his veins, unable to stay focused or remember how long he'd been there, trying to focus on his girlfriend Betty Brant back home as he fights off Kraven and his pet dinosaur. Venom impales Kraven in the chest with the symbiote, but Kraven cuts through it with a knife and continues the attack, with the Venom symbiote taking more and more of a hold as Kraven prepares to finish Flash off. Venom manages to escape at the last moment, thinking to himself that he couldn't leave Betty alone to bury another liar, leaping off a cliff to a massive drop, web swinging on the neck of a dinosaur and crashing into a cliff wall, falling the rest of the way and blacking out, succumbing to both the poison and his injuries. We see Betty Brant back home telling Peter Parker about her problems with Flash, that he randomly disappears with no explanation, leading her to think that he's drinking again. And meanwhile, Kraven the Hunter catches a giant jungle spider, breaks it open over his head, and drinks all of the blood and venom, reminiscent to his infamous scene in Kraven's last hunt. Peter tries to defend Flash while Betty continues saying that he's not someone who can be trusted anywhere but in a fight. And Kraven continues tripping balls on the spider guts. Flash wakes up in a cave, remembering his mission and how he had been hunted by Kraven for days now, pulling out the poison darts and spear tips still dug into his skin. Past his 2-day limit with the symbiote and with no communication systems, Flash has one bullet left that he considers using on himself if the symbiote gets out of control, but decides that Kraven isn't his problem and that he has to shut down the mining facility, get out alive, and get home to Betty. Running through the cave system, he realizes that he can't leave Kraven out there for somebody else to run into, and that he has the power to take him down, that he's not some helpless prey, he's Venom. Kraven appears in front of him with blank eyes and a vacant stare from all of the spider poison he's been drinking, and attacks Venom while asking him again for one last embrace in death. Venom notices that the cave they're in is full of giant sleeping Savage Land bats, and knowing that the sonics they use to communicate would damage the symbiote, Venom attempts to creep silently out of the cave to fight Kraven in a more favorable environment. Kraven follows Venom, still spouting crazy shit about them dying together, and Flash tries not to panic or feel anxiety, lest his weakening hold on the symbiote finally give out. Kraven lunges forward with his spear and then throws it, with Venom dodging each attack and webbing the spear as it flies past, whipping it around and chucking it into Kraven's chest, relishing in the scream when it hits. Kraven's scream wakes up the giant bats, and Flash and the Venom symbiote both scream in agony, and as it slithers away, Flash says he can't blame it for abandoning him. Kraven sees this and claims that the spider's true form has left Flash, and although Flash says he can still take him without it, Kraven is unimpressed and angry that an unworthy cripple thinks he can kill a Kravinoff. Flash knows that he still has one bullet left in his gun, and as he pulls it out, the giant bats swoop down and grab both Kraven and Flash, flying out of the cave in a massive swarm. Flash knows that he has to do something quickly or he'll be too high up to fall safely, and shoots the bat carrying him directly in the brain, falling 30 feet and then dragging his way up a ledge. Exhausted, Flash thinks to himself that he just has to make it home to Betty, that the symbiote was poison and he was better off without it, when it crawls up to him and reattaches to him of its own free will, giving him the feeling that it's a friend, that they need each other, and that Flash still has a mission to accomplish. It tells him that it'll never abandon him, and that they never have to run or be afraid again as long as they stay together. Elsewhere, the mysterious figure behind the Antarctic vibranium has been watching this entire event unfold, and now has Agent Venom's true identity. He asks if anyone would like to take care of a bully, and Jack-o'-lantern with his newly exploded face raises his hand and says, "Pick me!" And that wraps up this episode of Comic History. This was a short, semi-self-contained story that also played into the larger narrative. Again, this took place right at the beginning of the 2011 Agent Venom solo series, which was one of my favorite symbiote books of all time. Flash only had one mission before this where he first met Jack-O-Lantern, who becomes a very personal and hated villain to Agent Venom. I'm definitely going to be doing all sorts of Agent Venom and other symbiote stories soon. Comic History has become a weekly series, and that allows me to both make more episodes and explore a lot of great characters. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and check out the Comic History playlist on the channel where you can find every episode of Comic History. If there's a story, character, or origin you'd like to see an episode of Comic History on, go check out our Patreon and donate at patreon.com/rnsentertainment. One of the donation rewards is to commission any story you want, both helping the channel grow and getting content specifically for you. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at Roman_RNS, like and follow us on Facebook, subscribe to our gaming channel RNS Gaming, and I'll see you guys next time.